What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Showdown breakdown. We're taking a look at the Thursday Night Football Week 6 contest between the Commanders and the Bears in one of the lowest total games of the season. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, you just reminded me of something. And I'm going to have to look around.
Okay.
Because we are coming off of a bet. We are coming off. What's that?
We can hold off for next time.
No, I got to do it. I totally forgot. I have
Okay.
my hat. I got to, no, my cleaning people were here. And my turd hat. So I will be wearing that here momentarily. But just got to look around the office. I got to go off camera for a minute. But pretty incredible reason why I have to wear a turd hat. And I see yours in the background. But the incredible reason is because the bet on last week's show, where it was Thursday night, another turd fest, low scoring game. And you said, I like Alec Pierce to be the nuts captain in this one. I said, no, it's going to be a running back or not a running back. I said kicker defense. You said Alec Pierce, and I don't want to bring up that you also said or Matt Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
That was never happening. So I felt like you'd be wearing a turd hat for this breakdown. And then in the last second, Alec Pierce smashed, the kicker smashed. Everybody made money. That was the beautiful thing. All the people who watched the breakdown smashed. We had a lot of tournament winners that day. And it continued throughout the weekend, last weekend for Showdown takedowns, including an incredible double takedown on Monday night. I got a piece of that too on FanDuel, not the DraftKings. Didn't play it on DraftKings, played on FanDuel. Got a piece of the takedown. I also had my third island game takedown in a 7-day span, which was pretty nice on FanDuel. FanDuel account's swole right now. Whew. That's what I'm talking about. So we got another one to take a look at. And what I'm excited about for this one is that it's another low-scoring game. Another game where we're bringing kickers and defenses and positions that people don't traditionally love up into the captain mix. So, again, first of all, let's say congrats to 512 Football Man and One Fly Eagles Fly One, both sharing a piece of what was a reasonably small tie group, but nonetheless, we had DFS Army members basically in the mini max, in the 3, in this one, and in, of course, the million, just taking it down like crazy. It was an incredible week of showdowns, and we're going to keep it going starting off week 6, Bobbywow. And we have the ultimate Bears expert. Bear down.
Oh.
Bear down.
My Bears energy is dwindling, Geek.
No, don't be listen, it was never going to be easy for them. They forgot to have wide receivers.
True.
That's never going to make it easy. Like, oh shit. Like the coach was like, guys, it's August. It's August 30th. And I know we were talking about this or that, but are we going to do like wide receivers this year, or we're just not? We're just going to not do it. We're just going to not.
Have you seen a wide receiving core that's worse? Honestly.
Giants. Giants is worse.
Now it is, but I mean, they started the season okay.
No, they were always terrible, but yeah, it's gotten worse because of the injuries. At least the Bears have one guy who I think is like pretty good in Darnell Mooney.
Yes, true.
So I'm saying the Giants are worse because they don't even have one guy. I thought it was going to be Kadarius Toney, but Tony has not done it at all. Forget about doing it again. Does not feel good. It does not feel good. Oh my God. So many references just went over your head. You have no idea what I'm talking about. That's okay.
What is it? Is it something from the 70s?
No. Well, I'm not that old. I'm from the 90s. Tony was a R&B band And their song was called "It Feels Good." You don't know any of this?
I've never heard that. No.
I gotta make you put on.
I am writing it down though. Okay, I'm writing it down.
It's not that good of a song. It's not that good of a song. You know what? It came up for me because lately I've been watching. I've got this song. I'm working on a dance. I'm working on something, and it's from that era. It's a different song from that era, and so now other songs of that style keep popping up in my. I don't use Pandora or whatever the kids use, the Spotify's. I use YouTube. Because I'm from the 90s. All right, he knows. These guys.
LimeWire. That's what you used to use. LimeWire, isn't that what you?
No, I mean Napster. I would get all my music off of Napster. All right. Matchups. I'm going to let you start us off. Give me the Chicago side while I go get my punishment hat.
Great. I think the noteworthy piece on the Chicago side is David Montgomery. We saw Khalil Herbert as the running back, the lead running back, because Montgomery was out for a couple of weeks, and he was just okay. So the question was, when Montgomery comes back, what's going to happen in that situation? David Montgomery reclaimed the RB1 spot in a big way. Oh, God. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. We need to zoom in. Where's the zoom in feature here? The spotlight. Yes.
Sad.
Someone screenshot that, please. Oh, Geek, I think the craziest part about that was just how close your call was to making me wear the turd hat.
I was sure.
Both your calls.
I was sure it kicker defense. And it was like going back and forth. I didn't even think for a second that I was losing that bet.
Crazy, man. We need more of these. We need more of these little friendly wagers. Okay.
We'll come up with more.
So I was just talking about Montgomery because earlier in the season, it felt like a little bit more of a split between him and Herbert. You can see the season snap percentage, some injuries in there too, but 45, 40. I mean, that's even. Montgomery came back last week and kind of silenced the doubts of a potential split still. So I wrote this in the notes. Justin Fields is the future, but Montgomery is the heart and soul of this Bears team. He's the reason they're competitive at all. He's the only reason they won. And the offense is going to flow through him as a runner and as a pass catcher.
Yes.
He is far and away the best play.
Yes.
So that's the big person to note. The other thing to note is outside of Darnell Mooney, you can trust nobody as a pass catcher. There are 5 or 6 wide receivers that rotate in and out. The rotations are going to keep getting wonkier, and we'll talk more when we get to the notes, but it gets ugly fast once you get beyond Darnell Mooney. So that's what the Bears are looking like.
Griffin turd.
The name is the only thing that makes that viable. But again, I mean, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, look at the target counts for Equanimeous, Dante. But you think Equanimeous, you think the dad, John Brown, is like Equanimeous? You know, Amon-Ra's my kid now. He's my guy. Like, do you think he treats him differently? Because you got one brother who's like crushing it, and the other brother who is barely hanging on. I think I'd be pretty proud anyway for getting in the NFL. So
yeah, you would think so. I hope so.
I'd be pretty proud. Yeah, you can't trust any of these. They don't throw the ball. You know, these numbers are actually deceiving. 19%, 23%, 19%. So I do love the 19% target share for David Montgomery. I love that. Interesting to see Cole Kmet finally got some targeting last week.
He did. He did.
Really rough. But part of the problem is that Justin Fields only throws, 20 times a game or 23. He doesn't throw very frequently, so that will remain a challenge for all these pass catchers. And I totally agree with you that David Montgomery is the premier play on the Chicago side, outside of kicker and defense.
Yeah, and look, I put it in the notes too. Geek, there were multiple weeks where Curtis Samuel had more targets than Justin Fields had completions. Not just once, multiple times this season. So you are absolutely right. Those numbers are definitely deceiving.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you got 30% of the targets? How'd that go? Well, I got 6 targets. Like, oh, great. Right? It's not that great. All right. So shifting over to the Commanders. And by the way, I just want to say, and I mentioned this, I hate the name Commanders. I want them to go back to Washington Football Team. That was a cool name. That was a badass name. The football team. Like, it was cool to say it. Oh, the football team's doing this. Like, that's awesome. The Commanders? No, it doesn't work. Big mistake. Should have kept it the football team. With that being said, Carson Wentz. So the big news, I guess, sort of, is the running back situation, the debut of Brian Robinson last week. And look, they hate Antonio Gibson to the point where even on his first game back off of getting shot up, Brian Robinson got 52% of the carries. Not that there were a lot of carries, but he got 52% of the running back carries for this team. J.D. McKissick slides in with a nice 18% target share, and it leaves Antonio Gibson in absolute no man's land. He'd get a couple targets here or there, priced like a starting running back. He is a full fade on this slate for me. No.
It's not exciting in general, the running back situation, but you're absolutely right. And you'll see, especially DraftKings, his price is crazy high. Gibson's is.
No, because they're pricing. No, he is a full fade. Can't touch this with Antonio Gibson. As far as the rest of it goes, I mean, everybody must be like, what is happening right now with the Geek? I like the hat. It's super comfy. All right. Pass catchers, right? Last week we got none. The rookie was out for the team last week. I can't even remember. Jahan Dotson. And in steps Dyami Brown into the role. And instead of all the looks and all the goodness going to Terry McLaurin or Curtis Samuel, Dyami Brown had a very deceiving game where he caught 2 big touchdown passes and ended up putting up a monster score. But I do think it's noteworthy that it's not like Dyami Brown was on the field a ton. Those were high variance situations. He only got 31% of the snaps. Cam Sims was out there as the primary WR3. So these are 2 turds to keep an eye on in this slate. Terry McLaurin remains perpetually overpriced for his production. At least he was last week. Let's see what the numbers show on this slate. Curtis Samuel, lots and lots of targets. Still love Curtis Samuel every week. Cheat code? Kind of. Yeah, I'm going to say not exactly, but kind of. He's still a 10 target a game kind of guy. Not doing a ton with them, though, but eventually he's going to break one. After that, I believe Logan Thomas is out this week, Bobbywow.
He is.
Which I'm assuming means John Bates is our guy.
Cole Turner will be John Bates' season, but
Cole Turner?
I have a little bit of a take here. I think Cole Turner's the better play. And we can get into that later if you want. But I think, John Bates is this very unsexy play. He's going to be on the field. He'll probably get targeted a couple times. His ceiling's pretty low, in my opinion. Cole Turner at min price, red zone target, former wide receiver, rookie. Got some interest there. So we can talk more when we get to the notes.
Would he have been in Griffin Turd, Slith Turdrin, Raven Turd, or Huffle Turd? Because it looks like it looks like the sorting hat.
It does.
It looks just like a sorting hat. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Slith Turdrin. That didn't flow as nicely as I thought it would. All right. Matchups we talked about. Real quick, I just want to pop on. I love the power rankings at this point of the year, Bobbywow. Starts to really be a little more telling. So just a real quick look at the power rankings. And the prediction here is about 135. So good rushing yards for both teams, which is interesting on the Washington side. Wasn't expecting that. I'm assuming that means Chicago has been a little bit rough against the run this season.
Arguably the worst. Yes.
There it is. So as bad as the running backs are for Washington in terms of like how many of them there are, it looks like the combination of them should do okay. passing okay, 234 yards. So there we go. Now let's jump over to the cheat sheet. Actually, that reminds me. Before we go to the cheat sheet, we got to talk about our sponsor, No House Advantage. Love No House Advantage. They've got this cool contest, and it goes for the Thursday night football game. So this is a Showdown breakdown. I mean, we could check it out right here, but they have a sweet Thursday night football contest. Again, it's so simple. You choose from the 7 props ordered by favorite to least favorite. We're just going to choose some unders. You know, it ain't hard. Under, choose random names. Ooh, Gibson. Yes. I love the under on Gibson's rushing year. That one should be number 1, right? Like easy money, Bobbywow.
Easy money.
They always take unders when it comes to these teams. Who else do they have? They can't even find anyone. Khalil Herbert. Yeah, give me the under. 45.5. Give me the. I'm going to make a lineup right now. Anyway, the way it works, you make 7 picks against the spread. Here, you put it in. If you're the highest scoring, each pick gets a points value. If you're the highest scoring in this tournament, you win the tournament. It's that simple. I like the MME aspect of it. And if you sign up over there with promo code ARMY, they will give you a deposit match. So make sure to check it out. Support the show. And now we get back into it here, talking some cheat sheets, some captains, some flexes, and how are we going to attack the slate? Now, Bobbywow, let's move over to the side here so we can see the sheet a little bit. Are you bearing down with a little Justin Fields captain action? Who do you like here for captain?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely, he's in consideration. Carson Wentz. What are your thoughts here on Carson Wentz being included?
I don't think he's the style of quarterback that gets there in showdowns on DraftKings. So I'd rather play him on FanDuel. I think he's a pocket passer, not likely to run much. And if he's doing it, somebody's doing it better.
Here's what's crazy. This kind of surprised me a little bit. And I know the game situations have kind of contributed to this. He has put up some solid scores in most of the weeks this season so far. In fact, I think he has outscored, I understand the salary piece. I think he's outscored just about everyone on this slate multiple times. That's why he's there. I totally agree with you. He's an ugly play. I'm not going to have Carson Wentz on DraftKings, but there is merit to playing him just because he does score well for some reason.
I don't mind playing him in general. Just like I'll have to go look at those 2 games where he scored big this season and see if anybody else on the team did well. I don't recall anybody else doing very well. They did spread the football around in those games, and maybe that's the way that Wentz gets there.
That's the path. Yes.
Yeah. I don't see Wentz getting benched at all. Not this season and not this week.
33 points, 32 points, 26 points. He's got the ceiling to do it. Again, I hate it, but it's worth mentioning.
There we go. If I'm playing Carson Wentz at all, and this is a rule that I've started initiating on all of my showdowns, and it's actually really helped. If I play him at all, it must be stacked with at least 1 pass catcher.
Yes, agreed.
Flex or captain, I'm making the rule, and that is an official rule. It's really, really helped me because it just builds lineups a little bit more the way you'd hand build them. So I have included this new rule that QB, captain, flex, I don't care. He is stacked or he's not in my lineup across both things. So you love David Montgomery. I love David Montgomery. We love David Montgomery together.
We do a lot.
Best play on the slate, you would say?
I think so. As long as he can stay healthy, as long as he can stay on the field, he is far and away the best play.
I agree. Strong run, Khalil Herbert, strong runner, struggled to block with Montgomery out. Herbert is a little bit undersized. In fairness, last week Montgomery comes back, and this is in your notes. Assumes the 70% role, and he had the ankle. We weren't even sure he was going to play. So, yeah, the Bears want to run the football. They don't throw it almost at all. They're a focus the run, and yeah, I mean a lot of you guys are calling it here in the chat. it's a defensive game. It's a low scoring game. And we already know where we really got to go with a game like this, which is including some unusual pieces in the captain, including kickers, including defenses. And of course, Darnell Mooney, all of the pass catchers for Washington as well. So let's continue through it here. You've got Terry McLaurin, overpriced once again, as always, $9K. It's too much to pay for McLaurin. He has not had a good game in forever.
Here's why. Here's why McLaurin, and I know you like Samuel more, but both of them, for the same reason, are in play for captain, because this game is a low-scoring game. Terry McLaurin doesn't score often. He doesn't find the end zone. Samuel doesn't find the end zone much either, but this is the type of game where you might not need to find the end zone to be the nuts captain as a wide receiver. There's so much volume. I mean, 9-10 targets is enough volume on DraftKings to potentially be there in like a 15 to 12 game. So again, I don't think there's no slam dunk captain play here. Let's be very clear about that. So all these guys are in play, but the volume alone in a game flow like this makes some sense.
Yeah, I agree with your point there. You don't need a monster game at anybody because it's going to be super low scoring. So, there's the possibility that just a lot of, 100 yards and 8 receptions, 21 points, that's the nuts play. It could happen. That would take a very low score, but it could happen. Curtis Samuel, right.
We saw it with Pierce. He was a little less expensive, but we did see it with Pierce.
And by the way, to your point with Curtis Samuel, he's been a bit of a cash game cheat code because he gets a lot of targets, but he doesn't do a ton with the targets. If you take a look at Curtis Samuel's game logs, you'll see 11 targets, 10 targets, 9 targets, but he's not putting up monster numbers. So, it's 22, 21, but the targets are there, 11, 9, 10, 7, 8. But that is what it is. That is what it is. He's usually not going to put up a score good enough to win a tournament or take down a tournament with. So I'm going to just be aware of that. He's not that much cheaper. It's interesting. You got McLaurin, Samuel right there. They're both very, very expensive. And it's funny to me that no one, and then Mooney, and then you just got to scroll all the way down to find any of these other guys that are on these teams, because that's about all that matters for either team. Do we know that that Jahan Dotson is definitely out?
He's been ruled out.
He's ruled out. So we get another combination of Cam Sims and freaking who was it? De'Ami Brown. Man, that's going to be tough. 4 targets, 2 receptions, not a whole lot, but he puts up this monster number. Everybody's going to be on it.
That's where it's interesting, Geek, because he's priced up. He's double the price of Sims, or maybe even more than that.
The Sims is terrible, though. He's never had a good game in his career, ever. He just stinks. This guy, he's so bad. I don't think I can go there. I think there's so many turds, and the Chicago turd. I don't think you even need to go here. I think this is kickers and defenses, and just pay up for these other guys.
Sims stinks. The argument for him was he gets the snaps. He fills in as the guy on the field for Dotson, but he does not convert anything. So you have De'Ami Brown playing half the snaps of Sims last week, but he's the dynamic player. He's the guy producing numbers.
McKissick is not a bad play either. I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put him in a captain spot per se. Although you could do worse than McKissick. He's a pass catcher, not a FanDuel play, but I think acceptable on DraftKings. So again, looking through all of this, was De'Ami Brown kind of like an anomaly last week? Well, and Jahan Dotson almost anomaly the weeks before. Can we get to the point where Terry McLaurin can catch a touchdown? Because if he does, he's probably going to be the nuts captain on this slate. It really comes down to, can he score a touchdown?
Man, I would have answered this question in a heartbeat, yes, a year ago or even a couple months ago, but I don't know, Geek. I think obviously De'Ami Brown, that's not sustainable. But to say that it's going to go to Terry this week, possible.
It's hard to, it's been years of it not being that, but it will happen at some point. So some of the other names you've got as potential captain plays, of course, both kickers, which I like. Darnell Mooney's also a very strong play. By the way, if Fields is kind of like playing like he did last week, and let's give credit where credit's due, Fields kind of woke up last week, and you did call that he could have a good game. Do you see that continuing here this week?
I hope so. I mean, the Washington Commanders, their pass defense stinks. They are not good against the pass. This is an opportunity to really unleash Fields, kind of like last week. Will we see it? Sometimes the coaches get a little obsessed with trying to win the game. So if they don't need to be throwing like they did last week, they might scale back. But if there ever was a game environment to let Justin Fields loose, it is this game on Thursday night. So I like taking chances on it. Geek, we know the rushing upside's there. Put it in the notes. He had a 40-yard touchdown, rushing touchdown called back on a bogus penalty last week. There is legitimate upside for Justin Fields. So yes, he is.
Finally started gaining positive yardage on his QB runs last week, which was not the case for most of the season. He was running and going backwards.
He could have easily had the 100-yard bonus with the touchdown last week. So yes.
Yeah. No question. And I want to, with Justin Fields, he's definitely somebody that has he's scary to play, but he's got enough upside that he is captain worthy, even if I don't love it, even if I'm not in love with that. Yeah. So, let's see. I was going to look at one more player. Yeah, Darnell Mooney's the other guy. So, it's been so bad. So
it's hard to see. It's hard for me to see Mooney getting there without Fields getting there.
Definitely not. Or vice versa. Now, guys, stop what you're doing. Everybody's watching. Stop what you're doing. I got 2 requests for you. Number 1, who's your favorite turd captain? Right? Bobby and I, we bet last week. Now I'm wearing a turd hat. Drop in your comments. Who's your favorite? Not turd captain. Who's your favorite captain who could break this slate? Doesn't have to be a turd. Who is your captain that is in the nuts lineup this week? Pop it in there. And of course, while you're doing that, make sure you've subscribed to the channel. You've hit the like button. You've smashed the notification bell so you know when the Showdown breakdowns come out. If you want to take down Showdowns, if you don't want to, that's fine too. Go watch something else. So, but that's what we've been doing. We've been taking down Showdowns and we want to keep it going.
Geek, here's a question I want to ask you quick. It came up in the chat too. Does the with one pass catcher rule go away with a guy like Justin Fields?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Don't need that rule. That is a great question. That rule does not apply to a running. Now, Justin Fields has not been a running quarterback up until this point, but he has it in him. So yes, you can throw that rule out. Justin Fields can easily run for 1 touchdown and be the only player on Chicago that makes the nuts lineup at all. So, yeah, you can get rid of that for a rushing quarterback. But I won't do that with Carson. If Carson wants my lineup, a pass catcher is in there. And Cole Kmet, Venice Jones. You guys really embraced the turdliness.
That's Velus Jones to you.
Velus. Yeah. It's Santos, I don't mind that pick. Bears defense. So Bears kicker, that's cool. Kmet, I don't know about it. I don't know about him. All right, so turd zone here. Yeah, I'm fading him. I'm fading Gibson fully. No interest. Brian Robinson. Somebody asked about Brian Robinson. Yeah. Okay. Now
I like him more on FanDuel.
Yeah, probably more of a FanDuel play. Definitely. Don't love the salary per se. The role. McKissick is probably more interesting than both of those guys, especially if Washington starts to fall behind in the game. Khalil Herbert
had 7 targets last week. J.D. McKissick.
Yeah, he's fine. He's one of the most targeted running backs in football. Khalil Herbert, you need a Montgomery injury. So the way I'm going to play Khalil Herbert at this price, $6,200. And again, salary is important. If Khalil Herbert was $1,200, I could play him as a backup running back and it's fine. In a situation where he's priced all the way up with starters, I don't want him in the same lineup necessarily. There is a scenario where he gets there with Montgomery. It could happen.
No, I fully agree. I would keep them separate.
I'm keeping them separate. So the rule you set is at most one of those two guys, or if Montgomery's flex / captain, don't use Herbert. And the reason you use that rule is because in the scenario, here's what happens. Let's say you don't make a rule, and you played some some Khalil Herbert, and you played some Montgomery, and you're kind of like, oh, I made the rule, so I'll probably have some lineups. Or I didn't make a rule, but I played both guys, so let me see if I have any. Montgomery gets hurt, then you're looking for your lineups that have Khalil in them, and you look, and they all have Herbert in them. They all have Montgomery in them.
Yep.
And then you're like, damn, why? Oh man, and you're like, crap, I wasted these lineups. So what I would say is you make the rule, the injury happens, and then you're like, all right, I only played 10% Khalil, but now all of those lineups definitely don't have Montgomery, so they don't have that chalk explosion in them. That's why the rule is important. And then you might say, well, once in a blue moon, both guys might make the winning lineup, and you're right, but what are you going to do? Right? Like, I'd rather be in a situation where when the injury happens, I've got all these lineups that don't have an injury in them, rather than wait for that one random time when the backup running back of this style makes it in the same lineup as the starter. Oh, that was a lot.
It's a good call.
That was a lot to get out. Cole Kmet. The next Cole Kmet, I'm reading your stuff because it's so good. The next Cole Kmet breakout game will be the first Cole Kmet breakout game. He just doesn't do much.
It's surprising because you would think a guy like him would thrive in this type of offense, but he has not. And he has not flashed any sort of upside. So the $5,200 price tag on DraftKings is hiked up. Too high given his ceiling. But also Khalil Herbert got 30% of the snaps last week. I think it was 14 or 15. But still, nothing changed there.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet, man, he is like the definition of mediocrity and just underwhelming disappointment far.
There is one more turd, or at least one turd spot that I want to discuss. There's turds all over the place here. But John Bates, so Logan Thomas is going to be out for the Commanders, right? John Bates and one other dude at tight end who I'm looking for here,
all the way at the bottom. Yep.
Yeah, Cole Turner basically split the work 50-50. Bates is coming in, let's see here, at $3K, which is kicker priced. Not great. I'd rather have a kicker. But Cole Turner, he's a 200. He's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Now, at 200, a player can get you about a 6 and be in the perfect lineup. That's 2 receptions, 30 yards, or 3 receptions, 30 yards, something like that. It doesn't take much.
It does not.
But for this guy, John Bates, to be in the nuts lineup, for Bates to get there, he needs to outscore the kicker. So now, again, we assign a default value of 9 fantasy points to a kicker. He needs a pretty good day to do that, Bobbywow.
He needs to score. He probably needs to score.
You will get a swag bag if you use it. See, everybody's screenshotting this. I'll never live it down. Now this is going to be the avatar that people use. All right, there you go. You got it. No swag. Yeah, so I'm assuming you like a Cole Turner.
And yeah, look, I think, let's be honest, Cole Turner is a min-price play for a reason. But that said, when you're comparing these two tight ends and the other min-priced options, he's interesting. He's a really athletic tight end, rookie. They drafted him this past season. Converted actually from wide receiver in college. He was a very good pass catcher and someone that I think Washington is ready to see what they have. He's a red zone target. Definitely someone that can find his way into the end zone. And there are a lot of worse options that we've seen min price. So if I'm going to take a shot on someone in this range, he's probably my top choice.
Let me ask you a little something about Ihmir Smith-Marsette.
Please.
And my main question is, how did he not get cut after last week? Why? So you can have painful memories of watching a man catch a football, start running with it, have another man walk up to him, tap him on the shoulder, and say, "Excuse me, that's my ball, bitch." And then he just took it from him by force, just like he took it from him. It wasn't knocking the ball out. It wasn't like a defensive play where both guys had their hand on the ball. He just walked up to him and said, "That's my ball, bitch." And he took it. And Smith-Marset was like, "What the hell was that, Bobbywow?"
It was so crushing. And I mean, if it's the first quarter, you're trying to make a big play, fine. You had a nice stiff arm. Geek, this was a 2-minute drill to tie the game. Justin Fields is getting his chance, and they're driving down the field. He could step out of bounds, and he chooses to be selfish. I can't believe it. I can't believe he's not cut. But the sad part is he's probably top 3 talented wide receiver on the Bears.
They needed to cut him. It doesn't matter.
They should have.
All I'll ever think about.
Yes, agreed.
All I'll ever think about is it wasn't an interception. It was he just walked up to him and took it from him. I don't think
after being on the ground, he toasted him.
That's my ball, bitch. What the fuck? It's crazy.
I can't talk about it anymore.
Let's make a lineup on DraftKings here. By the way, I'm just going to share a little personal information for you guys. It's fucking hot as hell under this hat. Like this thing it's like it's winter. Can I go outside? Now I know what I'm wearing for Halloween. It's super hot. It's a real punishment. All right. Now that being said, Bobbywow, I'm going to let you lead the lineup construction. On FanDuel on Monday, the lineup again, that was a VIP only podcast, but the lineup we put on screen for FanDuel was the nuts.
It was.
That was
crazy.
It was crazy. The nuts. It won. Oh, people were crying. Yeah, after that happened I almost cried for you, Bobby. I felt bad for you.
That means a lot.
It does. I feel for you. I was like, oh, this is not going to be good for Bobby. I was going to actually send you like a dude, sorry about that. But I didn't want to I didn't want to say anything. I was like, bro, that sucked. All right, let's make a lineup. Monty, captain.
Let's go Monty.
Yeah,
captain.
Let's go our favorite play at the top, David Montgomery. Okay. Now we got him in there. Do we have to use other players? How about kickers?
Yeah, I don't like the defenses as much as people, a lot of people do, but I love both kickers. I kind of want to play Commanders. I want to play them all. You don't need to.
I know. I got to play one of the two.
Ugh.
Gonna have to, because you want to play these guys. All right. So we got 8,600 left. We got 2 kickers in there. 2 kickers in there.
Yeah, to me, you're getting Darnell Mooney in there, and you're getting T-Mac or Samuel.
And McLaurin. Boom, that's your lineup. I wouldn't mind getting to Wentz as well. So if I could sit here and screw with this lineup a little bit, I would rather have probably like a Wentz than a Terry McLaurin.
I mean, you could put Fields in there too. I know we usually don't put quarterbacks in with their running back as captain, but don't write that off either.
Yeah, I would be okay with that also. I'd be okay with Fields there. I'm going to plug McLaurin in this one. Actually, let's make it a little more cashy. All right. We'll make it a little more cashy. We'll go with Fields here. 2 kickers, running back 1. There are a lot of other ways to make this lineup, including like a Robinson, Wentz version. There's a few different ways to do this. I'm actually going to look forward to building a number of these, but since I want to track one, let's track, what did I say? Yeah, Mooney, Fields, Samuel, Sly, boom. All right, we're going to track it, see how we did.
And I think we need to be clear about this too. Do not feel forced to play a Washington running back on this slate. You should have them in your player pool if you're doing MME, but do not feel like you have to. Even on FanDuel, 99% of the time, we want to get running backs in there. This is one of those exceptions where still viable, you can do it, but don't feel like you have to force it.
Guys, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, please. Begging you. Hit that subscribe button. We need those subscribers on there. I don't know why we need them, but we do. We need them. That's what I'm told. All right. Going back to the cheat sheet, let's talk a little bit of FanDuel. And again, we talk about this every week. FanDuel favors quarterbacks and running backs primarily, but my kickers, my defenses get a little bit of love too. The position that gets downgraded on FanDuel is always going to be pass catchers, wide receivers. And you saw it, by the way, Bobbywow, just the other day. Remember the game yesterday, or it feels like yesterday, but it was Monday, where Pat Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns to Travis Kelce? You know who was the nuts? It was Mahomes.
Which is crazy. It's even crazier considering Mahomes wasn't even in the optimal DraftKings lineup in the flex.
That's right. But he was the nuts play. He scored. One guy caught 4 touchdowns, and the QB outscored him.
That perfectly demonstrates the massive difference, why it's so important to strategize differently for each site.
I don't think people do it. I don't know how much that's done, but you need to understand that. So with that being said, Carson Wentz, sure, love him. Got a stack with 1, maybe 2, probably 1 though. Even as captain, I'm just putting him in with 1, and it's probably, it's one of, you got to include, include Yami Brown and Cam Sims, but I don't like any of them. But you got to stack him with at least 1.
Yep.
Montgomery, great captain, probably my MVP, and probably my favorite on FanDuel too.
Yep. Agreed.
I prefer him to the quarterbacks. Justin Fields, I feel like you gave him 1 star too many, but that's your call. I think he's a little less good of a play than Montgomery and even Carson Wentz. But of course,
the domination station thinks he's the high scorer on the slate. That's all I'm saying.
He is projected for more points than he's projected for more points. So,
but no, I what you said makes sense for sure.
Yeah, I like him less, but he's projected. You're right. He's projected for the most points. So what's his price point? 16. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, again, neither guy ever scores a touchdown. And then Darnell Mooney can potentially pop off, but I find it massively difficult to imagine any of these 3 outscoring their quarterback. So I'm not super excited about any of those guys. Can you play? I'd rather play kicker. So the positions that you're not showing here that I would like to have here is I do think that the kickers are in play as FanDuel captains. And I'll give the defenses play as well. I'd rather have them. I'd rather go kickers and defenses than I would McLaurin, Samuel, or Darnell. I'll favor them all. I'll favor them over those guys.
I could see why.
Sorry, don't at me. That's what I'm doing.
What was the game? Who did the Colts play last weekend in the total turd fest?
The Broncos.
That's right.
It was the Colts Broncos, and we knew it was low scoring. We bet the under. I bet the under. I knew it was low scoring. We talked about it, and that's where I'm wearing a turd hat because it was Alec Pierce over freaking the kicker, but the kicker put up 16. Like, it was super close.
Yeah. It's just different. It feels different here. Another turd fest, but having a starting running back in play, David Montgomery, and a legitimate rushing quarterback makes it feel a little bit different to me.
David Montgomery's pretty much an all-in play here, no? It's either Montgomery or Herbert. You almost had to have one or the other.
No, I don't like Herbert. I really don't like Herbert.
But if Montgomery gets hurt.
Yeah, if he gets hurt, yes.
It's only when I say or the other, not both. One or. Not both.
I think Montgomery is the most smash play for sure on both sides.
Yeah, totally.
Can we build a lineup on FanDuel?
Yeah, let's just see if we can find any. I mean, do we need the cheap turds? Again, I'm full fading Gibson. Isn't it funny that I did something bad here. No, I didn't. All right. I think I just did something. But anyway, isn't it funny that Robinson's 1,100 now? So are we playing Robinson for 1,100?
The pricing makes more. FanDuel priced this how it should be. Gibson's all the way down to 9K. I think Robinson has some legit touchdown upside. He was the guy coming out of preseason. He's the number 1, and he is definitely someone that they'll go to at the goal line. So he's got touchdown upside, which puts him in play for me. I don't love him, but he is the best running back for Washington on FanDuel.
Yeah. McKissick, I like at 7,500 very much. Cole Kmet could get a touchdown for 7,500. No. Turd. Nerd.
There's some bad plays.
Don't need any. N'Keal Harry. I'll drink a beer out of this hat if he ends up in the nuts lineup.
Done.
Beer out of this thing. It's gonna spill everywhere. This has no seal.
That's how bad things are. You think Jets fans have it bad, and they do. Bears fans are excited. We're excited that N'Keal Harry is finally off IR to step in and bolster these wide
because
receivers.
they need a wide receiver out there, and N'Keal Harry's better than a lot of these guys.
Do you know how sad that is? It's so sad.
It's an eye roll. All right, so you start your lineup with Montgomery. I like Carson Wentz over Fields.
Okay, yeah, I mean he's outscored him in every game this season so far.
Yeah,
Wentz has.
Fields is terrible. I wouldn't put him in anything other than he's terrible. What? It's not personal. I have him on all my dynasty. I need Fields to be good more than you do. I drafted him in dynasty. I have my hard-earned money on the line.
Do not sell low. He is the future geek. I promise.
I'm not selling. You can't even give him away. You can't even sell him at all.
If you put Fields in here, what do you have left? Do you have enough left? I'm just curious. I just want to see.
No, you can't do it. You have to go. Okay. You cannot do Fields. You can't start like this. If I do Fields, I got to get rid of Wentz, which is fine.
No, go Wentz. Go Wentz. I like it.
It's fine, but I can't do both. And since we have the running back from Chicago in there, you can't do both. You got to choose one. 9,300 left. At this point, the only guy I really liked sub kicker price was J.D. McKissick. Then a kicker. And you're left with Brian Robinson or bust. So actually, I mean,
I would upgrade McKissick maybe to a guy like Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, let's see where Mooney is. Okay, there we go.
Mooney,
90. Oh, okay. Fucking A. Now we can choose from Bears, Commanders, or a second kicker, which I like. So let's say I put Commanders in here.
And that's a
lineup. The problem here is I have an unstacked Carson Wentz, and that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So what can we do to get a stack partner for Carson? Well, that was McKissick. You want to go
tournament, throw Diami in there.
Diami, I guess. Yeah.
Wait, he's more expensive than McKissick?
I know.
Lord have mercy. Okay, get McKissick.
I don't even know if he's going to play.
Yikes.
Questionable. And I'm not putting a questionable player in this. I forget to change it.
I think he plays. But yeah, no,
I forget to change it, though. Is there a way? Okay, hold on. Where's Curtis Samuel? Oof. You know what? What if you put Scary Terry in? You can't even get to McKissick now. You got to go to the supreme turdliness zone.
He had 7K left with Samuel, though.
Doesn't work either. Doesn't work. You have to go down to the Washington kicker. So you know what? I think we go with the original and just make it cashy. And as much as the rule was supposed to be, don't ever play a quarterback without wide receivers. I don't think that's the right play to take a tournament down. I think you need a wide receiver. You got to pick
100%. Yes.
You got to pick one. So without Jahan Dotson and without knowing about De'Ami Brown, I think it actually has to be Terry McLaurin. So you know what? Screw the Wentz version. Let's just make a Fields version. Because I can't make this quickly. And in this version, we got to get a Washington kicker in it.
Yeah.
We need something from Washington. We could put the other kicker in there. We want Mooney in there to go with Fields, and then we got 11K left. Ooh, Robinson Jr.
I don't mind Robinson in there. More of a GPP lineup, I think, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Because here's the thing with Wentz, going back to that, there's not running backs that are, I mean, there's running backs that could vulture, but there's no standout running back for Washington. So, but without him, I like having Robinson in there.
Yeah, I was cool with either that. So I went back to Wentz. I really don't like this approach. I feel like you have to have a pass catcher with him. So we'll go back to Jay Fiddles and we'll take out Cairo and we'll go with Brian Robinson just for shits and gigs with this one.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. And, let's see what happens. Wow. The Tinder girls are going nuts in the chat.
It's the hat, Geek.
Yeah, it is the hat. I do like McKissick as well. So I think McKissick is your pay down option, though. Like McKissick makes a lot of things work on FanDuel.
Yeah, he does.
What house do you think JD McKissick would be in Harry Potter world?
I don't know. Gryffindor.
Hufflepuff. Turd. He's in Hufflepuff. Oops. He's in Hufflepuff. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is between the houses. All right. That's going to do it. Showdown breakdown. Where my turd at? It's right on my head. Pretty turdly game.
Yes.
But you can win tournaments with these kind of games. I had my biggest win on FanDuel in a showdown pretty much ever, just getting different at the MVP because, you win on FanDuel all the time. But like I said, there's massive ties and you don't make a lot of money. I finally got like on a 4-person tie, which was the best I've ever gotten on a FanDuel showdown.
It's huge.
Yeah, and that was because the kicker got us there. So I will be playing kicker. I'll be playing defense and MVP. I'll be getting a little different with it. Yeah. Ooh, there it is. Slytherin, because he's slippery out of the backfield. I like it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for another Showdown breakdown. Again, if you're not signed up at DFS Army and you're watching this, get signed up now. NBA right around the corner. We are nonstop. College basketball, college football. We got it all going. College football, basketball down the road, but NBA is around the corner. NHL just started. It is a nonstop DFS fest. You have no idea how many sports are going at once. It's bananas in the DFS Army back offices.
Geek, someone posted yesterday, the day before in the Discord about how they know nothing about college football. They didn't even know that there were college football contests, but they read the notes, they entered lineups, and they like 5 times ROI. And then multiple people under that commented and were like, yeah, I did the same. So yes,
I don't get to play it. New York bans college sports on DFS. I don't get to play it. But my understanding is our college football projections, notes are freaking spectacular. So you got to get it. Phi Philly, make sure you've joined our DFS Army Discord. Really important. If you go to dfsarmy.com, let me put up dfsarmy.com. Let me show this. So make sure if you are watching this and you are a DFS Army subscriber, you just, anything, there's a little button up here called Discord. Can you see me pointing at that? Yes. Oh no, it's blocked. Hold on. I gotta turn off the blocking. Hold on. I got a blocker here. Let's take this off. Okay. So right here, Discord. You want to be in our Discord first and foremost. That's where we're all hanging out. That's where we're talking strategy. That's where my channel is. Bobby's in the channel all the time, hanging out, talking. We're answering questions. We're doing a lot of back and forth. But you connect your account to our Discord. Within the Discord, there's a channel for avatars. You grab whatever avatar from DFS Army you want. Rep the brand. We love it. But more importantly, you just want to be in the Discord because that's where the magic is happening, guys. Make sure you're in there. Everybody who's a DFS Army subscriber is entitled to be in our VIP chat. You get to talk to me. You get to talk to Bobbywow. You get to talk to all of our staff, that you see, DFS Up North, Josiah, Keg, everybody's there. Burns.
It's the best.
Hunter. Everybody. We're all hanging out. We're talking football. We're talking showdowns. We're breaking them down. You're getting the best plays. We're getting the late breaking news. Everything's in there. For NBA, you can't not have DFS Army. The late breaking news channel is so critical. You literally cannot not have it. I don't know how anybody plays NBA without what we have going on in the Discord. So Discord is our best way of communicating quickly to our subscribers, to our members. Yeah, Hunter wants another turd hat bet, but you know what? I almost think they have to come naturally. Like I don't want to force it. We both felt very strongly about our turdly position. So in the coming weeks, we'll have more turd bets, but right now I'm boiling under this hat.
We need natural. Yeah.
Yeah, I am boiling under this thing. That is a legit punishment. All right. Here, I'll give you this. If Fields gets the 300-yard passing bonus, I'll wear the turd hat for the next 2 episodes.
Oh, wow.
I'll give you a double episode if Fields gets a 300-yard passing bonus.
I don't even know who you like. There's not even anyone you like on this slate for me to.
I think it's. I feel like I'm back to like
kickers and defense. Okay,
yeah. Kickers and defense.
Deal. Kicker defense is in the nuts. Captain or MVP. I'm wearing the hat.
All right, there we go. We're going kickers defense versus Fields putting up 300 and being in the captain as well. All right, there we. Oh my God,
Jeez,
this one.
Louise.
I'll eat this hat if N'Keal Harry is the nuts captain. I will eat this hat.
He'll eat it.
I'll
live
eat it. On air. I'll just eat it. All right. By the way, you can't keep making fucking I'll eat the hat bets because at some point you're gonna end up eating a fucking hat.
Oh, I love it so much, man. This is the best.
Yes. All right. That's gonna do it. Showdown. But let's make some money. Let's make some money. Let's make some lineups and make some money. We are early. It is Wednesday. You got a whole 24. Usually we usually do these for VIP. We do it like 3 hours before. Now you've got a whole day.
And get in the chat, get in the Discord. Geek and I are in there answering questions all the way up to lock. So make sure.
I've discovered a lot of DFS Army subscribers don't even know we have a chat. They keep emailing like support. I'm like, why are you emailing support? Just ask me the question. I'm in the chat 24 hours a day. So like we're hanging out. All right. That's going to do it. Bears, Commanders, aka the Washington football team. So much cooler. So much cooler. You didn't like football team. I liked football. I think it's
better. It was better.
Yeah, it's cool. It started catching on. WFT. It was badass. Now Commanders, there's no badassness to it. It's fine, but it's not badass. They went backwards.
I know we got to go, but did you see what Ron Rivera said about Carson Wentz?
No.
Oh my gosh. A reporter last week asked him, why are these teams, doing well in the standings and you're not? His response was quarterback. He threw his guy under the bus. Oh,
harsh.
Hate to see it.
Hate to see a coach that does that.
Brutal.
Not a good sign for the Commanders going forward at all. That's not going to help your quarterback's confidence.
The wheels are falling off.
Oh my God. He said Wentz is dog shit?
I mean, basically. A coach never says that.
That never happens.
Is he wrong?
No, it's not just Wentz. He hasn't been that bad.
Yeah. He loses games. He loses games at the end. That's the thing. He'll get you back into games. He's like the evil twin, the ugly stepchild of Rex Grossman. Sexy Rexy was my favorite QB of all time.
Hunter, what were the 3 best showdowns in the analysis? I didn't bring up the article. I don't know if it was done before we actually started this. Do we have the analysis? Did you pick out the 3 best potential captains? Okay. They're not done yet. Okay. All right. We'll wait for that. We'll talk about it in the Discord. Good luck this week, everybody. See you at the top of the leaderboards.
Bear down.